are this afternoon's top stories. Capital projects to be featured prominently in the 2017 budget. UN to deliver food to thousands in Cuba, and indebted Greeks in danger of losing their homes. Good afternoon. Welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Friday, the 14th of October 2016. I am Shaira Flanders. Nationally, the 2017 Estimates Committee meetings of the federal government are on the way this week, and the formulation of the capital budget is a priority as capital investment is of critical importance in maintaining growth and sustainability. This is according to Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, who made the statement during the opening session of the Estimates Committee meetings, which are taking place at the Ministry of Finance from October 12th to the 14th. The Honorable Prime Minister said the implementation and execution of capital projects such as the new Bastia High School and the Team Unity Government's housing program should result in, quote, very expansive growth. Prime Minister Harris further stated at the 2017 Estimates Committee meeting that the housing program must absolutely start by January, not later than that. And in the post-cabinet briefing for September 30th, 2016, the Cabinet of Ministers disclosed that a site has been determined for the permanent campus of the Bastia High School. The Ministry of Social Development has been working diligently to ensure that older persons in the Federation are appreciated and given their due recognition year-round, especially in the month of October. That is according to Deputy Director in the Ministry of Social Development, Anne Wigley, who said that the decision came last year to celebrate older persons all year round instead of focusing on 1 month, as elderly persons have contributed greatly to nation building and should be duly recognized. She made the statements while appearing on the most recent edition of Working for You on Wednesday.
We started with in February,
sure,
where the Brimstone Hill Fortress took us out for the Sunday, and it was well attended, over 200 persons. And then we had our fun day where in April, where the person at Kim Collins, where we had our races and people
sure.
got their medals. Oh, that was great. Then we had the Chinese had us as guests at Eco Park. Again, we went and visit and had our day out. Our picnic went down because of the weather, so we will do that next time.
She said that a picnic was also planned but had to be postponed due to inclement weather. She noted, however, that the activity will be rescheduled. Wigley also said that so far in the month of October, a church service was held at the Church of God of Prophecy in Newton Ground, as well as a seniors march in Nevis, noting both events were successful. Wigley said equally important is the honoring of centenarians in St. Kitts and Nevis.
I'm pleased to hear that the government has accepted my thing to have it annually. So it would now be in St. Kitts and Nevis, an annual event on our calendar that May 31st would be our centenarian day. And we will also be honoring 23 persons with plaques, plus our centenarians during the month of October.
Still to come on the calendar of events are a movie night, a seniors ball, and an island tour. Older persons from Nevis will journey to St. Kitts to partake in the island tour. To date, there are 10 centenarians in St. Kitts and 6 in Nevis, making it a total of 16 in the Federation. Climate is changing, food and agriculture must too. This is the theme governing the World Food Day 2016 week of activities, and in particular, the 7th annual World Food Day Food Fair and Agricultural Exhibition, which will be hosted in Sandy Point on Saturday. According to President of the Sandy Point Agricultural Cooperative, Lionel Stevens, the exhibition will focus mainly on this year's theme.
This year, as the topic states, food and agriculture must change too. That climate is changing. We wanted to go back to what we used to eat back in the days. So we're having a cassava utilization demonstration where we hope to share some interesting knowledge pertaining to the cassava so that persons would get into eating more cassava again, because it's a good thing to have within the diet.
Stevens further revealed that donations will be collected for a worthy cause.
All the participants will be there. You have like Kitchen Hill, Eco Park, Kevin's Animal Corner, we have the caterers, Cartons Farm, TDC, Spax, ITAL, amongst many other things. There's no admission fee, and we're inviting persons to come on out and celebrate with us, as we are also looking to collect some donations on behalf of Tavares Fai, who was injured in the community festival some years ago. So he is there in the community, he's in the hospital, but we hope that persons would come on out and share with him. He's supposed to be there as well.
The 7th annual World Food Day, Food Fair and Agricultural Exhibition will take place on Saturday at the Sandy Point Marketplace. The opening ceremony begins at 9 a.m. and will be followed by the cassava utilization demonstration.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this.
Surprise, with sports and entertainment life. Can't improvise cause there's so much inside. Fashion is style, word on the street will make you smile. People show youth awareness, interest in the fashion closet, and many more that you cannot resist now. For young and old, it's not my show, that's how we roll. What's up?
And on the regional scene, the United Nations World Food Programme, or WFP, is working with the Cuban government to provide food for 180,000 people in hard-hit eastern areas of the island as they cope with the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew. According to a press release, WFP's primary response will include using the food stocks that are already in the country to help the people that are most in need, followed by providing supplies to vulnerable groups such as children between 6 months and 3 years of age, pregnant women, and adults over 65 in affected areas. WFP also stated that it is aiming to improve nutrition of the vulnerable groups by delivering a corn and a soybean fortified cereal compound to pregnant women and micronutrient powder to children between the ages of 12 and 23 months. The assessment of damages caused by Hurricane Matthew continues in Cuba, while significant food losses and damage to agriculture, homes and infrastructure have already been reported. Hurricane Matthew hit Cuba on the 4th of October with winds over 200 kilometers per hour. It has been the most powerful storm, classified a Category 4 on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale, to strike the island in nearly a decade. The president of Guyana's main private sector organization says the subjects that are being pursued by too many students of the University of Guyana are out of sync with demand and supply on the local job market. Jessica Daw has the details.
The subjects that many youths choose to study at the tertiary level is a matter of concern to the government, according to President Granger, who hinted this during a recent broadcast of his weekly televised program, The Public Interest.
Well, people make choices, students make choices, and sometimes students may want to go into the humanities or the social sciences or the natural sciences, and sometimes they might choose subject areas which they like, but the market does not offer employment in those fields. I'll be addressing the university, I think, in the graduation month after next, and it's a matter of concern.
President of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry expressed the same sentiments on Wednesday, but he believes that the pre-tertiary level of the education system needs revamping to address the problem.
We do need to do this much earlier on, at the level of the primary and secondary school, somewhere mid-secondary school, where children start determining which direction they want to head into.
Even as the government is trying to brainstorm ways in which the unemployment rate can be reduced, Mr. Durga is optimistic that early education on careers that are in demand would aid in the reduction of unemployment.
Definitely, and there's one mechanism that is usually used for that and globally, and it is the use of career fairs.
Over 1,500 students formed the last batch of graduates from the University of Guyana, while Guyana has a youth unemployment rate of about 40%, according to the Caribbean Development Bank. For HGP Nightly News, I'm Jessica Daw.
And on the international scene, security forces in Myanmar have killed more suspects in response to attacks on police along its border with Bangladesh. It follows an attack on Sunday by armed men believed to be from the Rohingya Muslim minority, in which police officers were killed. Al Jazeera's Rob Matheson has the latest.
Troops locking down Mungdaw following attacks on border police. They're searching nearby fields, hunting for the men said to be behind the killings.
This terrorist attack has strong political motives. It was prepared in advance with a plan and design. Their goals and aims are clear. Some international terrorist group is supporting them.
No one's identified who carried out the attacks, but Mungdaw is home to members of the Muslim Rohingya minority, and some human rights groups are concerned the hunt for suspects could lead to a crackdown on civilians. Buddhists in Rakhine State regard the Rohingya as illegal immigrants from Bangladesh. There are also fears this latest violence could provoke a repeat of fighting which broke out between the two groups in 2012. Scores of people died. Tens of thousands were forced from their homes. Thousands more tried to escape to Bangladesh, Thailand and Malaysia. In 2015, a report by Yale Law School in the US said there was strong evidence that Myanmar's government had committed genocide against the Rohingya. But some say the security forces are now the ones under threat.
The police were not prepared for incidents like this. Should another emergency or safety situation arise, they should get more help. We should strengthen the security forces in border areas.
In August, it was announced that former UN Secretary-General Kofi Annan would head a commission investigating human rights abuses in Rakhine. Buddhist nationalists protested, and the Rakhine Parliament passed a resolution condemning the commission. Around Mungdaw, the security forces continue to put more boots on the ground. Rob Matheson, Al Jazeera.
Greeks with bank debt or unpaid taxes are once again in danger of losing their homes after property auctions resumed last month. Some homeowners may be protected by the government, but there is confusion as to just who would qualify. More in this report.
They are few in number, but these protesters represent the concerns of millions of Greeks. Last month, law courts started auctioning off real estate owned by people who owed as little as €500 to banks. These activists have managed to put a temporary stop to that. All court-ordered sales must go through notaries public. Their union says they're so intimidated by threats of violence that they won't process any more payment orders until the government distinguishes between negligent debtors and those who really cannot pay.
The entire political system needs to legislate specifically for the circumstances under which people can save their homes from auction. It's one thing to go to auction to pay workers who are owed years of back pay. It's a different thing to auction off a ship or a car or liquidate property to pay alimony.
More than 40,000 outstanding court orders are now on hold, a temporary respite for money-strapped homeowners. This is turning into a major headache for the government, which insists that it doesn't allow banks to auction off people's primary residences. It is now considering a measure that would protect those homes from repossession for unpaid taxes as well, in an effort to soothe public outrage. But there is pressure from the banks, which are now looking to sell more than $100 billion worth of loans that aren't being repaid. Many bankers would like to sell these bad loan portfolios to distress funds. The portfolios would be worth more if debt collectors were given freedom to seize homes at will. Some court auctions have descended into violence as homeowners battle to keep their properties. Mary Orfanou has been fighting for 11 years and is afraid that politicians may ultimately cave in to bankers' demands.
My parents were poor. They came from a village. First they bought the land, then they built the ground floor, one floor at a time. That's where we grew up. My father worked as a florist day and night. Eventually he managed to build the upper stories to leave a floor to each sibling.
Orfanou underwrote a loan her brother took out to start a motorbike rental business, but his business foundered and he left half the loan, $33,000, unpaid. With interest and penalties, the bank now demands more than $100,000. If people cannot pay, she says, they should not pay. John Psaropoulos, Al Jazeera, Athens.
And now for the weather. Temperatures today will peak at 83 degrees Fahrenheit. Present weather is fair with sunny skies. Winds are gentler from the east at 8 miles per hour. Seas are moderate to locally rough with swells up to 6 feet. Small craft operators and sea bathers should continue to exercise caution. Today will be mostly sunny and tonight will be fair to partly cloudy with only a light passing evening shower possible. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Shaira Flanders. Have a good day.